Do you ever watch your child struggle with something? That knot forming in your own stomach, your hands almost itching to jump in and just fix it for them. Or perhaps you found yourself wondering late at night, after the house is quiet, if they'll truly have what it takes to handle the curveballs life will inevitably throw their way, especially when you're not right there to cushion the blow. Is there a quiet hope, a deep yearning to see them not just cope, but to confidently face challenges, to feel that spark of, I figured it out, all on their own? It's such a delicate dance we do as parents, isn't it? This constant tension between our fierce, protective instinct to shield them from every discomfort, every frustration, and that deeper wisdom that knows they need to build their own strength, their own capacity to navigate the bumps in the road. We want them to be more than just okay. We dream of them being resourceful, resilient, capable individuals who can look a problem in the eye and think, all right, what am I going to do about this? And so much of that comes down to nurturing their ability to untangle those knots themselves, to find their own solutions. It's about fostering their innate problem-solving skills, that incredible human capacity to think, to adapt, and to overcome. By the time we finish our conversation today, my sincere hope is that you'll feel more empowered, more equipped with real, down-to-earth strategies to nurture that clever, resourceful problem solver already living inside your child. And perhaps in doing so, you'll find a little more ease, a little more confidence in your own incredible parenting journey, knowing you're helping them build a foundation for a truly capable life. Let's start by thinking about the very ground on which these skills are built. One of the most powerful things we can do, and it might sound almost counterintuitive at first, is to create a space where it's genuinely okay for things not to go perfectly. A space where trying and even fumbling a bit is seen as part of the learning journey. Think of it as building a safe-to-fail zone right within your family. When children feel secure enough to attempt something without the overwhelming fear of shame, or of letting us down, or of facing a big, disappointed reaction if it doesn't work out, that's when they're most willing to take those little risks that lead to big learning. It's about shifting the focus from just the perfect outcome to the richness of the process itself, the thinking, the trying, the adjusting. So how do we actually do this in our busy lives? It starts with how we talk about mistakes, both theirs and our own. Imagine your child is trying to pour their own juice and it spills. That initial instinct might be a sigh or a quick, oh, be careful. But what if instead we met it with a calm, oops, spills happen, don't they? It's just juice. Let's grab a cloth. What do you think is the best way to get this cleaned up? Suddenly, a minor mishap becomes a tiny problem-solving opportunity. We're normalizing it. We can even share our own little blunders. Oh goodness, I put salt in the coffee instead of sugar this morning. My brain was still sleepy. I had to make a whole new cup. When they see that we as adults don't get everything right all the time, it takes a huge pressure off then. Another piece of this is to be really intentional about what we praise. It's so easy to say, good job, when they finally get the puzzle piece in or build the tower high. But what if we also made a point of noticing and naming the effort, the perseverance, the strategy they used along the way? Wow, I saw how you kept trying different ways to make that Lego piece fit. You were really thinking hard about that. Or you didn't give up even when that drawing wasn't looking quite how you wanted it. You kept working on it, and look how it's turning out. This tells them that the trying is just as valuable, if not more so, than the succeeding. It builds that grit, that willingness to stick with something even when it's challenging. And when setbacks do happen, when the tower crumbles or the experiment doesn't quite work, our calm, curious response can make all the difference. Instead of rushing to fix it or console too quickly, try a gentle, oh man, that section was tricky, wasn't it? What do you think happened there? Is there another way we could try to build that part so it's stronger? It's an invitation to analyze, to learn, and to try again, all within that safe, supportive space you've created. This foundation of safety and acceptance of imperfection is really where the courage to tackle problems begins to grow. Now, once we've started to build that safe space for trying and even for failing, the next really important step involves something that can feel incredibly challenging for us as parents: learning the art of stepping back. I know, it goes against so many of our instincts. We see them struggling. We know the answer. We could fix it in 2 seconds flat. But when we consistently jump in and solve things for them, we inadvertently send a message that they are capable of figuring it out themselves. We rob them of that incredible feeling of accomplishment, that aha moment that fuels their confidence and their belief in their own abilities. So, what does stepping back look like in practice? It often starts with a conscious pause. Your child is grunting with frustration, trying to open a snack package. Before your hands automatically reach out, just take a breath. Count to 5 or even 10 in your head. Give them a moment. You might be surprised what they come up with. If they're still stuck, instead of just taking it and opening it, try becoming a strategic questioner. This is where we shift from being the fixer to being the guide. You could say something like, that looks like a really tricky package. What have you tried so far to get it open? This simple question does a few things. It validates their effort. It makes them reflect on their own actions. And it opens the door for them to think about next steps. Perhaps they say, I tried pulling here. You could follow up with, okay, and what happened when you pulled there? Is there another spot on the package that looks like it might tear more easily? Or are there any tools in the kitchen that might help if we use them carefully? You're not giving them the solution. You're prompting their thinking. Other great open-ended questions are things like, what do you think might happen if you tried a different approach? Or, what's another idea you have? Or even just a simple, what do you think you could do next? It's also crucial to acknowledge their feelings without taking over the problem. If they're getting really frustrated with a toy they can't assemble, you can say, I can see this is really frustrating for you. It looks like a tough one to figure out. Just that validation can sometimes give them the little bit of emotional space they need to regroup and try again. Think about a common scenario, like siblings squabbling over a toy. Our instinct might be to march in, declare who had it first, or demand they share. But what if we stepped back a little and said, wow, I'm hearing a lot of unhappy sounds over here. What seems to be the problem we need to solve so everyone can feel a bit better? This reframes it. It's not about blame. It's about identifying a shared problem. We both want the toy, or we need a way to take turns that feels fair, and then guiding them to brainstorm solutions. What are some ideas for how you could both get a chance to play with the truck? They might surprise you with their fairness and creativity if given the chance. It's not always easy, this stepping back. It requires patience. And sometimes it means letting them experience a little more frustration than we're comfortable with. But the payoff, in terms of their growing confidence and problem-solving muscle, is truly immeasurable. As our children get a bit older, or when the problems they face seem a little bigger and more overwhelming, another really helpful approach is to guide them in breaking those big challenges down into smaller, more manageable pieces. It's like building with blocks. You don't try to put the whole castle together at once. You start with the foundation, one block, one section at a time. This skill, often called scaffolding in a more academic sense, is something we can help them develop in very practical ways. When a task feels too huge, it's easy for a child, and adults too, let's be honest, to feel defeated before they even start. Our role here is to help them see that even the most daunting mountain can be climbed one step at a time. Imagine your child comes home with a big school project assignment. Maybe they have to create a diorama of a desert habitat or research and write a report on a historical figure. Their first reaction might be a groan or even tears. "This is too hard. I can't do it." Instead of jumping in with all the answers, or worse, doing a large chunk of it for them, we can sit with them and help them dissect it. We might say, "Okay, this does sound like a big project, and it's normal to feel a little overwhelmed at first. But let's look at it. What's the very first thing we need to figure out or do?" Perhaps for the diorama, the first step is simply deciding which desert animals they want to include. Or maybe it's finding a shoebox. For the report, it might be choosing the historical figure or making a list of questions they want to answer about that person. Once they've identified that first small step, it suddenly feels a lot less intimidating. Then you can ask, "All right, once we've done that, what would be the next logical thing to do?" You can help them brainstorm a sequence of actions. For older kids, you might even jot down a simple list together, not as a rigid set of instructions they must follow, but as a flexible roadmap. For the diorama, it could be 1. Choose animals. 2. Find a box. 3. Gather craft supplies, sand, little plastic animals, glue, construction paper. 4. Sketch out a plan. 5. Start building. Each step on its own is doable. This applies to everyday chores too. A bedroom that looks like a tornado hit it can feel impossible to a child. Instead of just saying, "Clean your room," which can be overwhelming, you could try, "Wow, it looks like a toy party happened in here. Where's one small spot we could start to make it feel a little better?" How about we focus on just putting all the books back on the bookshelf first? Once that's done, what could we tackle next? Maybe all the soft toys into their basket? By breaking it down, you're not only getting the room cleaned, but you're also teaching them a life skill. How to approach a large task by dividing it into achievable parts. You're showing them that they don't have to solve the whole puzzle at once. They just need to find the first piece, then the next. And slowly, the whole picture will come together. This process builds not just their organizational skills, but also their sense of competence and their ability to manage tasks that initially seem too big to handle. Now, all these strategies, creating a safe-to-fail environment, stepping back and asking questions, helping them break down problems, are incredibly powerful. But perhaps one of the most profound ways we teach our children anything, especially something as nuanced as problem solving, is by being a living, breathing example of it ourselves. Children are like little sponges, constantly observing us, absorbing not just what we say, but more importantly, how we act and react in our own lives. How do we handle the everyday frustrations, the unexpected glitches, the moments when things don't go according to plan? This is where the real learning often happens, in those unscripted, authentic moments. Think about it. When you're trying to assemble that notorious piece of flat-pack furniture, and the instructions seem to be written in another language, what do they see? Do they see you get increasingly frustrated, maybe even throw the screwdriver down in exasperation? We've all been there. Or do they see you pause, take a deep breath, and say something like, "Okay, this instruction isn't making much sense to me right now. Let me look at the diagram again. Maybe I have this panel upside down. What do you think? Does this look right to you?" By thinking aloud, you're modeling a problem-solving process. You're showing them that it's okay to be confused, that it's normal to have to reevaluate, and that seeking another perspective, even a child's, can be helpful. This thinking aloud technique is so valuable in many situations. Maybe you're in the kitchen and you realize you're missing a key ingredient for dinner. Instead of just sighing and ordering takeout, though sometimes that's the right solution too, you could say, "Oh drat, the recipe calls for buttermilk, and I'm all out. What could I use instead? I remember reading that you can make a substitute with milk and lemon juice. Let me quickly look that up online to check the proportions." You're demonstrating resourcefulness, research, and adaptation, all crucial problem-solving skills. It's also incredibly powerful to share your own struggles and how you worked through them, in age-appropriate ways, of course. You don't need to burden them with adult-sized problems, but you can certainly talk about smaller everyday challenges. Remember when I was trying to fix that leaky faucet in the bathroom and I couldn't get the wrench to turn? I almost gave up, but then I tried spraying a little oil on it, waited a bit, and then it finally budged. I was so glad I didn't give up. Or, I was feeling really stuck on that report for work today, so I decided to take a short walk, clear my head, and when I came back, I had a new idea. These little narratives show them that problem solving isn't always a quick, easy fix. It often involves perseverance, trying different strategies, and managing frustration. Even how we handle minor inconveniences, like misplacing our keys, can be a teaching moment. Instead of a frantic, stressed-out search, if they hear you calmly say, "Okay, I can't seem to find my keys. Let me think. Where did I last have them? I came in the door, put down the mail on the counter. Let me retrace my steps." They are witnessing a methodical approach to a common problem. They see you analyze, recall, and strategize, rather than just react with panic. By living these skills openly, by letting them see our process, the thinking, the trying, sometimes the failing, and then trying again, we give them the most authentic and compelling lessons in how to navigate the complexities of life with resourcefulness and resilience. We become the model for the very skills we hope to nurture in them. It's quite a journey, isn't it, this path of parenthood? As we walk alongside our children, guiding them as they learn to untangle life's little and big knots, we're not just teaching them to solve problems. We're weaving a tapestry of connection, understanding, and deep, unwavering support. Each time we pause, ask a thoughtful question, or simply sit with them in their frustration without rushing to fix it, we're sending a powerful message. I believe in you. I trust your ability to figure this out, and I'm here with you, every step of the way. Navigating these challenges, both theirs and our own, that arise in parenting, with compassion for ourselves and for them, truly strengthens the bonds that hold our families together. Remember, you are doing incredible work. Nurturing a child's ability to solve problems independently is a gift that will serve them for their entire lives. It's about fostering not just competence, but also confidence, resilience, and a belief in their own inner strength. There will be moments of frustration, for them and for you, but there will also be those beautiful, bright moments of triumph when you see that spark in their eyes, the spark of having wrestled with something and emerged victorious all on their own. Hold on to those moments. Trust in your child's innate capacity, and trust in your own wisdom to guide them. You have the power to make such a positive difference, to build a foundation of connection and capability that will support them long after they've flown from the nest. If this conversation resonated with you today, if you found some comfort or a new idea to try, we'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a like. Sharing it with other parents who might be navigating similar paths can spread the support even further. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Family Connection Hub. We're building a community here, a place for shared learning, encouragement, and ongoing support as we all walk this amazing, challenging, and rewarding road of parenting together. Thank you so much for spending this time with us.